we've had a lot of frost damage and cold over the winter, and the mulus grass and some of the other grasses. I guess I wondered what he cutting those back.
Thank you for bringing up that point. First off, muley grass is a Florida native. Mondo grass is not a Florida native, so I may have misspoken there. But muley grass is the Florida native. And I find in my own home landscape, and what we do as well in the nursery, grasses, whether it's cord grass or muley grass or some of the ornamental grasses, some of the pennisedums or miscanthus or even pampas grass, declines a bit in the wintertime. It may be cold or it may just be a natural aging type of thing. What we do is get a weed whacker, a blade whacker, and actually scalp it just about to the soil line.
Wow.
It takes off all that ugly growth.
What month is that?
This is January.
Okay.
Late December, January, early February, and I'm talking, like in the first few days of February, because you want to have that done by the time the new growth emerges.
Do you fertilize it after you've cut it back?
In the nursery situation, we incorporate a fertilizer in the soil, but in the landscape situation, sure, you would fertilize just like you would, for spring. But keep in mind now, for us, we don't need brown stubble. Brown stubble, last year's ugly growth, if we cut the plant 4 inches or 5 inches high, that would leave ugly stubble in the pot. So we actually take it down just about an inch above ground level. Wow. And it removes that ugly foliage. This year we got an early jump on spring because it was warm, but particularly muley grass grows back quickly, cord grass grows back quickly. Pennisedums are a little more cold sensitive and they may have taken it a little bit harder. So
that's great.
I think that's that, yeah.
We've got another caller on the line. Hi, caller. What's your question for us tonight?
I would like to know a plant that I could put in the front of a picture window of a room addition. The room, it gets full sun, and I'd like something that flowers as much as possible, and about 2 to 3, maybe not any higher than 4 feet high, and low maintenance.
I want that plant too, Bill.
You want that plant?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Well, we're talking about azaleas. Red ruffle azalea finishes off at about 3 feet high. That'd be nice. There's another azalea called Duke de Rhone that flowers at this time of year. It's a nice pink flowering plant, and would finish off about 4 feet or so. Those are a couple choices that would be nice.
It's a great selections.
Yeah.
Now talk a little bit about some of the shrubs you have here. These are so spectacular.
Sure.
I haven't seen this much color in a little while. Now tell me a little bit. We've got a camellia here.
Sure. Yeah. John's Nursery grows a lot of camellias. And let me just say that, for two common broad categories of camellias would be Sasanqua camellia and Japonica camellia. Sure. And this variety, this is a Japonica camellia. And the difference usually is the Japonica flowers are bigger, the leaves are normally bigger, and the flowering period is Christmas into early spring usually.
Okay, they're still flowering now.
Still flowering now, and I brought this one. This one is Laura Walker camellia, and it's just a spectacular flowering thing. It started even in the early December, and it continues to flower now. So those are Japonicas. Japonicas need a little bit of shade, particularly in the middle of the day. Sasanquas are another group. The flowers are a little bit smaller, they form more flowers. A lot of Sasanquas can take the full sun, and for the previous caller, we have several low-growing Sasanquas that might be a nice planting for a landscape as well.
And they like acid-loving fertilizer.
They do like acid-loving fertilizer, but in the nursery situation, we do have an acid soil. They wouldn't do well in marl-type soils.
Right.
A soil that has a high natural pH.
Not beachside either.
No, they're not.
We got another caller on the line. Hi, caller. Welcome to the program. What's your question tonight?
Hi, Karen. My name is Jim. I'm from Illinois, and I've been down here for about 18 months. And my question is, I'm having a problem growing herbs in pots in the kitchen. I have problems with the chives and the parsley and the basil. Am I supposed to keep the soil real moist, or is there a secret? I've had it in the pot for 3 weeks, and it's like maybe 2 inches high.
Yes, they do like lots of fertilizer, and they do like their soil moist, but not wet. Make sure that your soil is a sterile soil, and it's just a general potting mix that you can get at your local box store. A lot of us Floridians grow them outside in our garden. They like organic matter as well. Some of them don't like the full sun, so make sure it's not getting hit by the sun directly and that it's getting somewhat of a diffused or at least exposure to sunlight, but not baking in the sunlight. And give it some time. Sometimes they take a while to get started. So welcome to Florida, and we're glad you're here. And keep trying with those herbs. We've got a lot more plants we want you to try in Florida. We like to see you get frustrated like the rest of us, and also to see the most beautiful plants that you can grow year-round here in Florida. So welcome aboard. All right, Bill, tell me a little bit about these beautiful colored shrubs that we have.
Let me point out the 2 yellowish-green shrubs in front of us. This plant here is Duranta Gold Mound, and it caught the local industry by storm. The unique color, its growth form in the landscape, and it grows well, it does well, but the last 2 winters have been really tough on Duranta from Orlando north. South of Orlando and along the coast, it's fared better, but it's very cold sensitive. And we find up in Eustis, it's almost an annual, lately.
Mine got frozen back. What color are those flowers when it produces flowers?
The Duranta flowers are blue, and the flowers are not really a nice addition to this coloration. It kind of clashes. There are other forms of Duranta where the flowers and the foliage blend a little more nicely, but in this case, the plant is purchased for its unique coloration. An alternative for the Orlando North area, Lake County, and going on up to the northern parts of the viewing area. This is a new plant that we brought in, and it's really become popular. This is an abelia, and its name is Kaleidoscope.
I think that's my favorite there, Bill.
It's beautiful, and it takes on this coloration at this time of year, and as the cold weather comes, the new growth turns red. So kaleidoscope after the combination of colors. And we do have the bonus, it makes a tubular-shaped white flower in the summertime, which is very sweet in fragrance, and it attracts butterflies as well. So for areas to the south, where the cold is not severe, the Duranta is a good plant. If we have continued, or if we have warm winters, Duranta will survive well north of Orlando. But if you're tired of replacing Duranta in the north, Abelia Kaleidoscope.
I think I'm just going to add that to my landscape this year.
Yeah.
Now you also have this beautiful flowering daylily.
Daylilies, yes. John's Nursery grows about 8 acres of daylilies. And we have a number of yellows and oranges and golds, which a lot of people are familiar with, but we also have purple daylilies, we have pink daylilies, we have white daylilies, we have red daylilies as well. So we're just coming into daylily season. I brought our pride and joy. This is Yangtze. It's a variety that John, the owner of the nursery, crossed himself, bred himself, and we love it. It starts flowering early, middle March is early for daylilies, and it blooms just about all year until it gets cold.
Wow. It probably looks just like Holland out there at your farm.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful right now.
We have another caller on the line. Hi, caller. Welcome to the program. What's your question tonight?
Yes, I'm confused on just when to trim back my flowering plants, like azalea now and camellia, those type of plants that bloom. Well, I'm not really sure when they bloom. Sometimes mine are blooming, sometimes they're not, and I don't know when to trim them back into shaping them somewhat.
That's a good question. Yeah, camellias. Right now, we are pruning our camellias, and we're pruning them hot and heavy because they're beginning to flush their new growth now. If you want to shape your plant, now's the time to do it. Camellias set flower buds in the summertime. When the flush that's happening right now begins to harden off, that's when the flower buds are formed. So you don't want to prune in the summertime, you'll be cutting off a lot of your flowers. So prune the camellias right now. Azaleas, as soon as they're done flowering, prune them because a lot of azaleas set their flower buds in the late summer or fall.
Right.
So as soon as the azaleas are done flowering, prune them.
Now you have my favorite one back here.
Okay.
Let's bring this one out, and I have to show everybody this beautiful plant that I've just fallen in love with after I've seen it at your nursery. Tell me a little bit about it and tell the viewers at home.
Sure. This plant is called Fatsia japonica, Fatsia. That's the scientific name as well as the common name. And the beauty of this plant is it gives you a tropical look, and it's cold hardy. This grows in the landscapes up in the Carolinas along the coast.
Wow.
So it's that cold hardy. The cold weather may knock a new leaf off or so, but the older mature foliage is fine. We grow this from seed. Again, we buy the seed from the commercial seed houses, and we bring in the seed, germinate the seed, and up it comes. And we put multiple plants in the pot because it doesn't branch well. So if you want a full plant, look for a plant in the garden center that has multiple plants in the pot. That way you get the more of a shrub look to it. And
How big will it get?
it can get 10 or 12 feet tall, but it takes pruning well. So
Now, how about the flowers? Any flowers on it?
the flowers are inconspicuous. They're white, and they don't add a lot of interest to the plant. But the value of the plant are these big leaves, and the leaves will get 12 to 15, 16 inches across, and they'll be shaped like a hand. The leaf form is called palmate, after the palm of our hand. So.
Well, that's the show for today, and I'd like to thank Bill Bodnaruck for showing us the importance of learning the basics of horticulture. If you didn't get your question answered or need more information, feel free to email me here at wdsc@daytonastate.edu. I hope to see you next week on another edition of Gardener's Hotline.